All right, what's going on, YouTube? This is Keith with Less Magic, More Gathering, and today we are doing a special edition of Random Card Deck Tech. We're using some preview cards we've had thus far. Today is the 21st, June 21st, and we are awaiting the release of M19, and we've started getting a lot of preview cards. So we're going to do M19 Zombies. So let's take a look. Alright, what we did here was not necessarily pick a random card, so we're going to call this preview card deck tech. We have a handful of M19 cards out, and we've gotten to take a look at some of this stuff, and I saw some good, what's the word I'm looking for? I don't know. I saw some possibilities with zombies, so I put together a little something here. I don't know how well it would do in a competitive environment, but the concept is right up my alley, you know. So let's take a look at what we got. We'll start with our creatures. We got Death Baron back with M19. Death Baron is 2 black and 1 other. Skeleton creatures you control and other zombies you control get +1/+1 and have Death Touch. So that, for 3, is a really good anthem effect for all of our zombies and the 1 skeleton creature that we've got in here. So that's going to give all our creatures, essentially, Death Touch. And it's, as you can see, it's not legendary, so we'll be able to stack these on top of each other and get a lot of anthems going on. There's 3 different cards in this deck that provide that anthem effect, too. So let's keep going here. Went with 2 copies of Demon of Catastrophes. It's a 4-drop 6/6 flyer with trample. As an additional cost to cast this spell, you sacrifice a creature. So we've got some creatures like the Dread Wanderer and the Reassembling Skeleton that we can sacrifice and then recast from our graveyard. So I thought Demon of Catastrophes looked like a good option here. You can sacrifice one of those creatures and bring it back, or we've also got a couple copies over here of Fortuitous Find. We'll get to that in a minute. But we've got ways to get creatures back from our graveyard, and we've even got, some options that are going to help us when our zombie creatures die. So, went with 2 copies of that. That'll be a good way to finish the game off. 3 copies of Dread Wanderer. If you looked at my Twitter account, we had a kind of a sneak peek at this deck yesterday, and Dread Wanderer wasn't in it, but I thought the curve seemed a little high, so we put this back in. It's a 1-drop 2/1, enters the battlefield tapped, and then you can pay 3 to return it from the graveyard to the battlefield if you have 1 or fewer cards in hand at sorcery speed. So this is one of those creatures that you can sacrifice if you need to for Demon of Catastrophes, or if you just need some cannon fodder to get in front of something big. So that's 1 card that we can get back from our graveyard just by using its ability. Also went with 2 copies of Josu Ves, Lich Knight, 4-drop 4/5 with Menace. Just on its own, a 4-drop 4/5 with Menace is a good deal. You also have the option, though, to kick it for 6. That makes it a total of 10, so it's expensive to do. But if we get there with our Cabal Strongholds and, just kind of holding off our opponents until it can happen, we get 8 2/2 Black Zombie Knight creature tokens. So big payoff if we can get there, and if we can't, then like I said, a 4/5 Menace for 4 is still a pretty good card. Another one of our Anthem cards, a Lord here, Lord of the Accursed, is a 3-drop 2/3. Other zombies you control get +1/+1, and you can pay 2 and tap Lord of the Accursed to give all your zombies Menace until end of turn. So we got ways to give them Menace, we got ways to give them Death Touch, good stuff. Plague Belcher is a 3-drop 5/4. When it enters the battlefield, to put 2 -1 counters on target creature you control. So a good way to use that would be to drop those on your Dread Wanderer or your Reassembling Skeleton, and then you not only will have a 5/4 with Menace for 3, but you also will get the benefit of the other ability here. Whenever another zombie you control dies, each opponent loses a life. Obviously, the Reassembling Skeleton's not a zombie, so that wouldn't apply. But on the Dread Wanderer, you can also have each of your opponents lose a life when the Plague Belcher enters. So gonna probably be able to get some good benefits out of that too. And I've been talking about it a little bit here. I got 3 copies of Reassembling Skeleton. 2-drop 1/1. You can pay 2 and return it from your graveyard to the battlefield tapped. So lots of options here for sacrificing creatures to get some of these bigger creatures out, and then we can just bring them right back. Also, I'm going to jump over here to the other side. We've got 4 copies of Open the Graves. Whenever a non-token creature you control dies, create a 2/2 black zombie creature token. So every time we sacrifice a skeleton or a dread wanderer or just attack into our opponent so that it can die, we're going to get a 2/2 zombie back for that and then be able to return these creatures to the battlefield and do it all over again. So that seemed like a really good mechanic that I thought we'd try and take advantage of. We've also got 3 copies of Liliana's Mastery. I know that these 7 cards they're both 5-drops, but they're both so good. And we've got a good amount of land. I think that we should be able to get to these. These are going to be your opponent's going to have to deal with these eventually, or they're going to have some serious problems on their hand. Liliana's Mastery is from Amonkhet, so you probably know it. Zombies you control get +1/+1. When it enters the battlefield, you create 2 2/2 black zombie creature tokens. So you got 2 3/3s for 5 mana, and all your other zombies get +1/+1. So the 5 mana, while it's kind of towards the top of that curve, I think it's worth it with this card. We've also got 2 copies of Never to Return. Never is going to let us destroy a creature or planeswalker, and Return is going to give us another zombie. Fortuitous Find is going to let us return some of these creatures to the battlefield that maybe don't have that ability. You know, if we lose a Demon of Catastrophes or a Death Baron or something, Jozu Ves, we're going to be able to use Fortuitous Find to return them to our hand. And we don't have any artifacts in this, so we're only going to get the benefit of the 1. But being able to return those back to your hand and recast them will be handy dandy. Instant spells, we've just got some removal. 2 copies each of Cast Down and Fatal Push, and then 3 copies of Vraska's Contempt. So we've got 2 copies each of Cast Down, Fatal Push, and Never. So that's 6 different options for destroying a creature or planeswalker, and then 3 copies that allow us to exile a creature or planeswalker. So we've got I think enough removal. This is a lot of the zombie decks you run into are trying to be more aggro. This is definitely, I think, a mid-range type zombie deck. So we've got to use our removal to get us where we want to be. And then our lands are very simple. 4 Cabal, Stronghold, and 20 Swamps. So 24 lands total. So as you can see, the whole goal of this deck is to get our Anthem effects out and our Lords. Use Open the Graves to, create some extra zombies and really hopefully overwhelm our opponents. So I hope you enjoyed the deck. I hope you're looking forward to M19 like I am. There's been a ton of really good preview cards already, and we haven't even seen half of what's coming. So it seems like it's going to be a standard format changing release, and that's strange to say, I think, on a core set. But there's a lot of stuff that we've already been previewed that is going to immediately make an impact on standard. So I don't know if this M19 zombies that I've brewed up here is going to break standard. It's not. But it should be a fun deck to play, especially if you can get it rolling. You know what kind of people you play with and whether or not something like this would work. So it's probably not super competitive, but it would be super fun to play in a casual format, casual setting. So let me know if you try it out. Let me know how it works. Also, hit me up in the comments section down there and let me know what you might change, how you would do it differently. This was just something that I threw together in a couple days because I was really enjoying all the preview cards that were coming out. So I did have to make some changes to make our curve a little bit better. I had too much in the high end and needed to get some low-cost spells out there, so I did make those changes. As of right now, obviously, M19 has not been released, but if we were to buy all these cards right now, it would be $123 on Card Kingdom. Not a bad price. Not too bad. And as you can see down here, our average converted mana cost is still probably a little high for my liking, but I like to keep it right around 3, so it's not too bad. 3.17. Not bad. Showing illegal cards here because these cards are not officially standard legal yet, but they will be. Just hang on tight. And like I said, let me know down in the comments section what you thought of the deck, what you might do differently, and if you try it out after M19 releases, let me know how it worked out for you. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time. Deuces. Hey, thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, come down here and press this thumbs up button. Make sure you subscribe to the channel and hit that bell to turn on notifications so that you'll see when we post new content. If you got anything to say, hit us up down here in the comments section. We always love hearing feedback and comments from people that are watching. Let us know what you think. See you next time.